Hello, Hair Tools users. I'm just going to do a quick tutorial on a few different things here. I'm going to start with creating a base grid, and it's an extremely easy way to create a base grid. Anyone can do this, and it doesn't involve using a cube or anything. You're actually just going to make it right off of the scalp. So you have to have a scalp. I'm not going to show you how to do that, so make sure you figure that out. Otherwise, you can easily just use the base of your character, and then when you go into edit mode, you can see like the lines that you can use. But I'm just going to go off the scalp. So I'm going to select my scalp, and I'm going to go into edit mode, and I'm going to go into edge select mode, and I'm going to select the part where I want the part to be. If you want the part to be someplace else, you can definitely do so. However, this tutorial is based on a middle part, which is going to change. The tutorial will change depending on the part. So I would suggest following along with me here just to make sure that everything works out for you. So I'm going to go ahead and just switch over into solid view mode to make it easier to see my lines, and I'm just going to go all the way, I think, right to here about. Yeah, so I'm just going to go about here, and I'm going to change my perspective to front view, and I'm going to go ahead and extrude, if I can pronounce this, sorry, extrude this here. So just once that's selected, you can hit E on your keyboard, and I'm just going to kind of make a little, um, it's not going to be perfect. This is just a tutorial, but I'm going to make just some hair here, just a grid. So I'm just going to make it long, and the reason I'm going to make this longer than normal is, I'll show you later, but I'm just going to make this kind of long, and you'll figure it out in a little bit on why I'm doing so. It's not really going to be that long. So that's that. And then I'm going to keep that, I'm going to hide the body actually so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to keep that selected down at the bottom here. I'm going to hit Control plus on my keyboard. I'm just going to select all of this here so you can change your view, zoom in, and I'm going to hit P on my keyboard, and I'm going to go to selection. So I'm going to separate by selection. So now this is its own separate mesh. And now I'm going to select that mesh. I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to go down to actually the top. Make sure you choose the top, otherwise your roots are going to be at the bottom. And you're going to go back into edge select mode and edit mode. Go to, just select the edges. And then I'm going to go to edge, and I'm going to mark this as sharp. Mark sharp. Okay. And now I'm going to bring my character back in just because, and then I'm going to go back into object mode. I'm going to select that piece that I just made. I'm actually going to rename that to grid 1. Oops. Okay, so that's grid number 1. And now I'm going to, actually before I turn that into cards, I'm going to hide it really quick. I'm going to make a second one, a second grid for the back of the hair. So I'm going to select, let me just put that back just to see where it falls. So I'm going to, oh wait, I'll try that again. Okay, so I'm going to go around here to here. You can play around and see what works best. I'm going to select a little more. Okay, so then I'm going to go into side view. I'm going to extrude this out like this. Make that longer just because I will show you later. And I will do the same thing. Control plus on the keyboard, hit P, selection, object mode, select that mesh, go up to where the roots are, go back into edit mode. You're going to select, where is the bottom part there? Oh, okay. So what I did was when I selected that, I kind of missed this top part, but just ignore that. We're just going to go like this since that other part is attached to the scalp. And now we're going to mark this is sharp. And then we're going to select it. Okay, so that's its own mesh. We're going to go ahead and bring out the second one. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of match those up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and hide my avatar again. And I'm going to go ahead and go back into edit mode. I'm going to change this to the vertices select. I'm going to kind of just match up, move this over so it, I have proportional editing on. Make sure it's on connected only, smooth, proportional editing, and you can obviously adjust the size of your cursor so that it works out for you. Just going to kind of match all this up here. Okay, so then I should have matched. I wonder, I could have done like if I was able to match those two to match, but we'll just leave it like this. We'll have to match it up again, but that's fine. So then we'll go back into object mode. Now, right off the beginning, I'm not going to make the second side. I'm going to show you that in a little bit. It's just going to be these two for now. So we're going to, because what we're going to do eventually is we're going to, once we create the hair here, we're going to just mirror the curves back over onto this side, or even the mesh. We can just wait until the very end so that it matches, and then you can always go in there and move it around to kind of make it look different. This is more of just a quick way to make hair. Obviously, when it comes to making it look more natural and realistic and have everything not be so symmetrical, you can play with that yourself. But this is just more of an easy way because you could easily make another mesh on this side and do it all separately, but I just kind of want to make this a little bit on the faster side just to kind of show you how what technique I use sometimes. Okay, so now that I got that done, we're going to go back into our regular texture mode, and you can just ignore what it looks like because that's obviously not what we're going to be using. That's just the texture that's on there right now. So I'm going to go ahead and select both of these. I'm going to join them by hitting Control J on the keyboard. And now I'm going to save it just because Blender likes to crash once in a while. Go back into Hair Tools, click on Curves from Grid Surface, and now we're going to change our settings around. I like to do what I do like my layer one. I kind of have my own. Oh, okay, that's definitely Medusa there. I'm not going to use that. So I'm just going to change this to this for now, but I'm going to change that because this is my first layer. Usually my first layer, I like to have my strand width a lot higher and my strand count lower. So I'm probably just going to start with 5. I'm going to change this up to like 25. And I'm going to change the texture that's on there right now so you can ignore that. So it looks like that's kind of going into the scalp. So if I change the snap amount to 100%, and then I can maybe change this. That doesn't seem to be helping any. Not sure why that's underneath there, but we can always fix that later. Um, so that's that. I think it's about good when it comes to the width and the strand count, but you can always change that later if you want to, or do whatever you want. You can obviously change this down to your liking. Go back into object mode, and now I'm going to select this and rename it to layer 1 because I'm going to go with multiple different layers, with layer 1 obviously being the most opaque, and then it's going to continue to go up in layers to lower opacity to make more like flyaways and stuff. So that's that, and then I'm going to go ahead and hide the grid by holding H on my keyboard. So that is here. We're going to go into edit curve profile. I like to change this to 2. The segment U to 2, keep segment V to 2, change the strand protrusion to like 0.20, and we can do it like uplift it. Maybe that will help get rid of that spot there. Oop, that's going opposite direction for some reason. Okay. Oh, now that one went down. We're just going to leave that at 0. We'll change that around later. And now we need to change the strand width back to what we have at 25. It likes to reset itself when you go in there, so just change it back. It's one thing that we should see if we can get changed where it just stays, the settings kind of stay the same. I'm not sure if it's possible, but anyway, that's that. And now we're going to go into our UV editing. Now, when it comes to the opacity, if you want to use a different one versus the one that comes with the hair tools, I'm actually using one from Sinhouse. He provided it free on, ArtStation, and I have that one. I'll show you what it looks like. Looks like this. So I just dragged that over into the UV editor, and then when it comes to the shading, I dragged in that over into the texture file here. That was the opacity. And then for the color, I just went into the hair perimeters, hit tab, and then I just brought in a texture node here, and then I just added that in here, and then I just changed the color on this one down to the albedo, if that's how it's pronounced. And then when it comes to the vector, I just I put the UV into the vector slot here, and I moved this over here because I don't think we're using this, but we could be using part of it. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not really good with textures when it comes to Blender, but that's how I got this texture into the hair texture versus using just this hair color. Um, so you can take a screenshot of this if you want to try to mimic what I'm doing if you need to. Um, and then let's go back to layout. Now I want to change the UV editor. Oops, I'm going to just switch over to my other monitor here. Now I'm going to go into F3, draw here for UV. I'm actually going to go ahead and hit Shift Delete on my keyboard and redo layer 1 to the thick layer over here. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this. Hit enter on my keyboard, and then I'm going to go back to my character, and as you can see, it's a lot thicker, and it covers up any spots, so it's thicker and whatnot. Um, And I'm gonna go back into edit curve profile. There was one thing I didn't do when I went into edit the curves, and it's too late now, but it would move the points up more towards the root, so that you can avoid this, and then that actually shortens the hair, and that's why I made it longer, but it's too late to go back and do that now, so we're just gonna leave it as is. Maybe when I can always show you that in another tutorial, but it basically helps with the it's hard to explain, but it keeps the part in this top of the hair just higher quality, I guess. It just looks better. I don't think there's a way to go back and do that, but if there is and I don't know about it, please someone tell me. Okay, so we got that super easy layer one. We can actually go into layer one and just kind of edit the curves a little bit to make sure that there's no bald spots. One thing that I like to do is I like to go to select roots. I like to go, actually, you know what I'd like to do actually, and this might be a bad idea, but I like to select roots and then I delete the first vertice, and then I select roots again, hit Control plus on the keyboard, go to segments, subdivide, hit Alt A on my keyboard, go back to select roots, hit Control plus on my keyboard again, go back to segments and subdivide again. And then I think I can do it one more time. So we'll deselect everything and select the roots again. And we'll subdivide one more time. And then I'll select the roots one more last time. And I'll just bring this into front facing mode, go down, and then I'll hit G on my keyboard and just kind of pull this down a little bit so that they kind of, well, not actually, I don't want to, yeah, let's just do that. And you can kind of do whatever you want when it comes to this, but I'm just going to go like that. So they go down a little bit. So it's now, I kind of just did what I was saying I was going to do in the beginning, which is a lot faster, doing it the original or real way, but I kind of had no choice. So now I'm going to bring this up so that there's no bald spot there. Look around just to see if there's any really bad spots, which there's not. However, I do want to, oops, not do that. Um, Make sure that none of the hair is like going into the shoulder. So I'm going to grab this selection. Actually, I'm going to make sure that I don't have connected only on. I don't want that on right now. I'm going to go like this, go like this. Oop. Kind of just move this away a little bit so that the hair isn't like sticking through her body here. I'm not going to do it perfectly, but just to kind of give you an idea of what you can do to, and then you can always go change this into connected only and really modify that if you really want to, but I'm just making this quick here. So that's that. And I think layer one, just as a test, just looks okay. It's not perfect, but whatever, we'll see that there. Okay, so then we're gonna go back into object mode. What I like to do is create new folders. So I'm actually gonna just put this into its own collection so it's easier to, so I'm gonna put hair, curves. Oh, I had another one right there, but that was an old one. Okay, we're gonna ignore. So this is my hair curves here, layer one. I'm gonna go into the texture. I already have that layer. I'm just gonna put layer one, mirrored. Oops, I spelled that wrong. Don't worry. I'm just gonna leave it. I don't care. So that's my layer one, and then we want to add another layer. So what I do, and I know there's probably other ways to do this, but I haven't really figured out a good way that I can figure out. So I'm just gonna copy all of this shading. I'm just gonna hit Control C on my keyboard, go back into layout, and then actually I wouldn't do that yet, but I did it too soon. I'm going to hit Shift D on my keyboard. So now there's a second layer, which I'm going to name layer 2. I'm going to go into material. I'm going to go ahead and just add a new one, hit new, go into shading. I'm going to delete this one, hit Control V on my keyboard, go back into layout. Oh, come on, go back into layout. Uh-oh, did it freeze? No, it didn't. Okay. And go back to make sure your layer 2 selected in object mode. You're going to go down here and you're going to delete these. Oh, no, what did I do? Oh, this one and this one. And you're going to rename this layer 2. Obviously, the opacity is messed up, so in order to fix that, you have to go all the way down to the blend mode and change this to alpha hash, change the shadow mode to alpha hashed, and now you have your layer 2 with its own texture. Otherwise, you'd be sharing a texture, and then it can cause a whole bunch of problems. So I got my layer 2, but now I'm going to go back to my UV editor and change my, I'm going to save it to change, so UV editor F3, draw here for UV. It's a new material, so it doesn't have one selected yet. So I'm going to go ahead and select these two since this is my layer 2. I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard, go back to my character. So now that's layer 2, but obviously it's intersecting with layer 1, so we want to move that. So what I do is I go ahead and select layer 2. I go into edit mode. I select these ones. No, just they're the tips of those. And then I'll go into front view mode. I'm going to grab these and just kind of use proportional editing. Oh, no, wait. Shoot. Actually, you know what? I'm going to hide the back ones first. So I'm going to hit H on my keyboard. Oh, okay, so that's layer 1 that I was looking at there. Okay, so then we're going to select the roots, go into front view mode, and then we're just going to kind of go like, we're going to bring these out so they're not touching the other ones. And you can, move them around. I'm just kind of doing this really quickly. Make sure they're not intersecting. Obviously, you don't want to pull the roots too far away, otherwise it's going to look funny. Oh, my computer is making all sorts of weird things. I'm not sure if you saw that or not, but that was weird. Okay, so that's my layer 2, and now it came out and it's nice. Obviously it's not perfect, but this is just kind of giving you an idea. Go back into object mode. We're going to actually go, I'm sorry, we're going to go back into edit mode and we're going to hit Alt H on the keyboard. No, we're going to hit Alt H on the keyboard. We're going to hide these now. And we're going to do the same thing with these bottom ones. We're going to go into side mode. We're going to hit G on the keyboard and we're going to just kind of move these out in a way. We're going to go like that, and then we can go up here. Go like this. Is it unconnected? Oh, no, it's not. Okay. Yeah, you don't want it in connected only. Otherwise, you have to go through and do everyone separately. Having it like this, it helps. Speeds up the process a little bit. I'm getting a lot of goofy stuff going on my computer, and I'm not sure why. So yeah, you can just move them away so they're not intersecting. That's all. That's all I'm doing right now. You can, do whatever you want. If you want to be really specific and particular, you can move it to wherever you want. But I'm just pretty much, I don't want them to intersect. The program that I use is if there's any intersecting, it causes a whole bunch of problems. I use Character Creator. You cannot have any intersecting hair cards. So that was layer 2. So I mean, so far that doesn't look too bad for just really quick hair. I could have made this in 5 minutes actually if I wasn't doing a tutorial. And now we're going to go layer 3. So we're going to go back to our shading. We're going to copy this again. Copy, go back to layout, layer 2. We're going to make a duplicate of it. We're going to name it layer 3. And we're going to go down here and just add another material. We're going to make it new. We're going to go back into shading. We're going to delete this. We're going to paste that. Go back into layout. Delete all these other ones. We're going to go down here and change this to alpha hashed. And we're going to go ahead and rename this to layer 3. Did I rename the other one to layer 2? Yeah, I did. Okay, now we're going to go back into our UV editor here, and we're going to go to F3, and we're going to go to draw here for UV, and now we're going to select our third layer. Sometimes I use layer 2 on the third layer, but just because I want to make this quick, I'm going to do this next one, which I'm going to do this one, and this one. And those next ones will be the last layer, or something. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So then we'll hit enter on the keyboard, go back into layout, make sure we save it so it doesn't crash. Oh, but first I should switch it back over to my character. And then we're pretty much going to do the exact same thing that we did with layer 2. So we're going to go back into edit mode. We're going to hide this back layer here by selecting it all and hitting H on the keyboard. Oh, I hit the wrong. Uh-oh. Something happened. What am I doing? Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, I got scared there for a second. I thought I lost something. Okay, so now we're gonna hide these, hit H on the keyboard. Now we're gonna go to these guys and select those. We're gonna go ahead and hit G on the keyboard and just kind of move these out a little bit away from the rest of the other layer there. I try not to move the roots around too much. I think I may have a little bit more on this one than normal. Oops, that was not what I wanted to do. Okay, go G. I mean, I think that's okay. You can obviously move it around a little bit more if you want to. And then we're going to go ahead and hit Alt H, go ahead and hide these guys. Go over here, grab the bottoms there. And then we're going to move them out a little bit here. Oops. And depending on how full and voluptuous you want the hair, obviously that's going to change in how far you pull these strands out, because then it will kind of give it more volume. Or if you want it to be kind of messy, yeah, there's just a bunch of things that you can kind of do to change it up a bit. What is that hair? Oh, it's way over there. Okay, let's move this out here. This one's out a little bit too far. Okay, so that's just you get the gist of it here. So that was what layer was that? Layer 3. So it's a little bit more like little pieces. And now we want to go more fluffy, so we'll add another layer. So then we're going to do the exact same thing again. You're going to copy over these, go back to layout, duplicate your third layer. Oops, did I duplicate it? No, I didn't. There we go. And then layer this, or name this layer 4. Go into your settings here, create a new material. Oops, yep, new, and then go into shading. Oops, shading and delete that, paste that, go back to layout again, delete these guys, change this to alpha hashed, and then go to select layer 4, go into edit mode. Now I kind of want these to be pretty like flyaway, just because it is like it's supposed to be like the flyaway layer. Oh no, I didn't change the, okay, let's go into UV editing again. We didn't change the, oh, and I think I need to do that. Those were hidden. So we're going to go back here and we're going to change, let's save it first. I don't want it to crash. Save, okay. Go here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to select these flyaways now. So we're going to select this one as its own flyaway. And then this is like a big flyaway, I guess, because it's like kind of big up there, but then it kind of comes to a taper down here. So we're going to select that one. We're going to hit enter, go back to our character, save it. Now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to just change this to connected only, just so I can show you kind of how that works, if in case you're new and you haven't even used hair tools yet. Now I can select these little guys and move them to where I want. Since they're like the flyaway pieces, I can be pretty precise with them if I want to. This guy's going to be way out here just because maybe she's having a bad hair day. I'm just going to go ahead and put this guy out here. Don't want to get the root in there. Oops. Bring this out like this. Grab this guy. Bring him up here. Oops, I grabbed the wrong one. You gotta try to be careful. It's kind of annoying when it looks like it's coming from the different side, just because they don't, I don't know, like there's no, you can't really block them out unless you hide them. I don't know, unless I'm missing something. You guys can definitely fill me in if I'm missing anything. Bring this up a little bit like that. Oh, I bet that was from that side again. Yep. This guy can come out a little bit. Oops. Okay, so I got those flyaways. Now I can go ahead and start with this other side here. So I'm going to take this guy and move him out. I like to do quite a bit on the up by the hair roots, just because that's kind of where. Oops. Where's this guy right here? Okay. Do that. You can kind of get the idea of what exactly I'm doing here. I'm just bringing these out a little bit, just like before, but a little bit more specific. Oh, those are really tall. Holy smokes, I didn't mean to make that one so tall. Let's bring that one down a little bit. Having a really bad hair day. Let's see what that looks like in object mode. And one thing, since it looks really thin, obviously you can add more layers. Another thing that I do sometimes is I will duplicate this one. Like I would duplicate this one and then just put it in more different places and move it around a little bit more, just so that I can have more flyaways if it's not enough. Sometimes I'll do multiple layers of the same one just to thicken the hair and make it not look so thin. Um, so there's obviously different ways to do it. And now what I do, let's just say it looks nice. I mean, you can obviously get the idea. You can add more layers, you can do whatever you want, and this is extremely low poly. I'll show you that in a little bit here. So now I'm gonna select. Okay, so one thing is that these are combined and I need to make this side over here. So I need to like unlink. Hopefully I can do that. I don't think I thought of that. Or actually, I know I'm just gonna make a mesh. So what I'd like to do is save all these curves in case I need to go back and do something. I don't want to like lose them. And I know that you can convert the meshes back to curve, but I like to just keep a backup of all my curves. So I'm gonna make a new collection, create a new folder, and call this curve backup. And then I can go ahead and hide it. Oh, no. Oh, I didn't duplicate it yet. Duplicate, create, move to, oh, it won't let me move to a new collection. That's interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and select this one, oops, this one, this one, and this one, and this one. And now we're gonna move to a new collection. This one's gonna be called curve. I'll just call this curve backup 2. And then we'll hide curve backup 2 and we'll just use these ones for now. So I'm going to change all these to meshes, and my computer likes to freeze when I convert to mesh. So I'm going to make sure I save it. So I'm going to say layer 1, mesh ribbons, layer 2, mesh ribbons, layer 3. Oh, see, it's starting to freeze. And actually, you know what? I have to go back. I forgot to do something. So let me hit Alt Z on my keyboard a couple times. Okay, layer 1. I just want to make sure that I'm not. Okay, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4. Okay, so what I need to do is convert these into a mesh. Okay, I didn't record it because I honestly thought I was going to have an issue, but it worked. So I just hit convert to mesh on all of these. Simple. I mean, it doesn't really have to be recorded. It took me 2 seconds to do that. So I just converted these curved to a mesh. And now everything looks like this. And now because I don't want to have each curve layer have its own material, I want to just share the same material. So I can just use like this material for all of them, since the UVs are exactly going to be, the UVs are all share the same UV map texture, I guess. So layer 1 mesh, so I can just go in here and go, actually, you know what? I'm just going to rename this something really simple. I'm just going to go, come on, come on. Hair. Then I can go into layer 2 and I can just go hair, enter, layer 3, hair, enter, layer 4, hair, enter. So there you go. So now it all has the exact same material, which is extremely handy. Now I want to go into side view, go into edit mode, and I want to select all of these. Oops, no, wait, go back into object mode, select all these guys, and then go to edit mode. So now I have everything selected, and so far I'm only at 2,000 triangles. That's like tiny for like for video game hair. It's perfect. Obviously, I don't have very many layers, and well, I mean, I don't have a lot of detail. And then I'm going to actually select this here, so the back is its own, and I'm going to go ahead and just select all of it. Oh, I have to turn this on here. And I'm just going to take C and then just kind of go through here, and now hit Control plus on my keyboard. Okay, so all of that is selected. I'm just going to go ahead and separate that. So I'm going to hit P and then separate. So now, oops. So now the back and the front are their own mesh. So now what I want to do is go back again into edit mode. Oops, that's not. No, object mode, sorry. Select all of these guys here. No, that's not. Okay, so I got all of those selected, I believe, all those layers. Yep. And then I'm going to combine, I'm gonna join them. Obviously, you need to make any tweaks now. Like if you want to actually tweak around, like sometimes what I do with the roots is I'll go into like the snap tool, I'll snap it to the face. And then when I go into my edit mode, I'll go to like vertex select and I'll actually just select the scalp. And then it'll snap to the scalp so that it looks, really good. And I edit that a lot so that it matches up really nicely with the scalp. So you can always do that too. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to join this. You can still do that after you join it. So I'm just going to join that. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit object, or I'm going to duplicate it by hitting Shift D on the keyboard. Oops. And then just leaving it where it's at. Object, mirror, X global. So now you have the other side of your hair. Yes, it's not perfect. There's a huge gap here, but we can fix that in a little bit. Oh, it didn't. Uh-oh. That's not. Okay, so I kind of didn't select that guy. That's fine. Want to know what I can do is I can just select this. Go into edit mode. We're just going to kind of see what we can do here by selecting this here, hitting Control X on your keyboard, doing this deal, and then we're going to go ahead and just duplicate this and move it over. That. Bam. We kind of just fix that problem ourselves. Obviously, it's not perfect. It's kind of floating, but I'll show you how we can fix that as well. So we're going to go ahead and go to the scalp, go to our vertex, change our snapping to on face select. And actually what I like to do is remove the scalp and snap it right to the head of the character so that it's just better that way. So I'm going to go ahead and hide my scalps and then select the vertex here and then hit G on my keyboard. And then I'm going to it's going to just kind of snap to where you want it. And then you can obviously turn on, change this around if you want it to like kind of follow. So we're going to actually we're just going to get it closer to this hair here so that it kind of has a scalp. Oop, that. I'm going to go into top view here just because. Again, this is a very quick tutorial and it's not perfect, so please bear with me here. I just wanted to kind of throw this together for anybody that needed a quick, just some quick idea on how to make hair fast and whatever. Move that over here. Gotta get this is like not in the right spot at all. Shoot, Ooh. Okay. So that looks okay. There's a spot over here that I don't like. I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't know how. Okay, we're just gonna leave that and just ignore it for now. And obviously, oh wow, yeah, we got a little bit of funny stuff going on. Like, I think this must have snapped to a piece of hair because it definitely didn't snap to the scalp, which will happen. So you gotta kind of be careful where you're snapping your stuff. What you could do is actually just hide this hair over here, and then you can do it. But we're just gonna move on. It's taking me a little bit too long to do that. So, object mode. You got your hair. That looks really terrible on my end. I do apologize for that. But again, this is just a quick tutorial. It would look a lot better if you spent some more time on it and you weren't in a hurry. One thing that you can do, which would make it actually look a lot thicker, which I could have done, which I could just show you really quick. So if I convert this back into, oh, I don't know if it's going to let me turn it into a curve since I joined all those meshes. We'll see what happens. Watch, it's probably going to give me an error message. Oh my God, it actually worked, but something happened. We're just going to go back on that. So what you could do is if I go back to my curve backup, which I actually still have it here. So that's why I make a backup. This is exactly why I do the backup. So I go to like just one of my layers. I don't know if it's going to do it to all of them, but we'll find out. I go to edit curve profile, and I'll take this vertex and I'll hit E on my keyboard. Sometimes you have to do it a couple of times. So hit it and then like just let go and then hit it again. Otherwise, I don't know, it's weird. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to hit it again and go like this. And then if you go close curve profile and then you go back to your character and then hit. Now it basically made it a lot. I mean, that's way overboard. I did go overboard a little bit, but it kind of, yeah, it thickened it up a little bit. Yeah, so that's just something that you can do. You can obviously mess around with the curve profile and change it into something that you want that looks better. This was just a quick, just to show you. And then if I do the same thing and convert mesh ribbon, mesh ribbon, mesh ribbon, mesh ribbon, I can do the same thing that I did before and just copy this side over and then, mirror it over on the other side, and then I have more thicker hair. But again, if I do edit mode on all of these, you can see this now went up to 7,000 triangles. And then if I add this other part over here, it's still going to be it's still going to be good. It's still going to be pretty low poly. I mean, to me, I think the max that I use for character creator is 16,000. So this is definitely not going to be that at all. And this is pretty thick hair now that I kind of changed it around a little bit. Um, so yeah, that's just my tutorial. Again, I know the hair looks terrible, but I just wanted to do a quick one to show you. Um, just a technique that I use to do the grid without having to actually make a grid out of a cube, which will take a lot longer. So you can kind of mess around with the scalp and you can create a whole bunch of really fun hairstyles. I've made one, I mean, I've done some really cool stuff, and it's easy to make like even a ponytail because then you can just select the edges around here and then you can drag extrude this way, or you can, even just do a whole bunch, and you can do whatever you want, and you can do any type of technique. You can let me just play around in here since I'm in here. You can like take, let's say you want to do like one thing that's kind of cool is to make more of a hairline. So like if you can kind of see underneath the hair and it doesn't really look natural, what I like to do is kind of select around the hairline and then I'll extrude that. Oh, oh, you got to make sure you turn snapping off. So I'll like take this and I'll like maybe, I don't even know, put it maybe, oops, I don't know what's going on here. Oh, it's okay. I think see what's happening. It's connect doing what it's doing. Well, anyway, I'll take this and I'll just kind of extrude it out. Yeah, not like that. That's not right. But then I'll I'll obviously change it around a little bit because I'm trying to make more. Ooh, that head I made her head move around a little bit. Um, I'd make this part of her hair, and I would obviously have to like put it in a better place and make it longer and stuff. But then I would make this I would mark this as sharp, and the hair would grow to that. So I don't know if that would actually happen right now, because what happens if I go, no, yeah, that won't work. You would just have to do the same thing where you would take this piece off with the P tool, and then you would mark this, and then you would have the hair grow to there, so then it actually looks like it's coming out of the scalp here. And then you can like do whatever you want. But it's just kind of you can do some fun stuff. And that's pretty much all I got for you. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Otherwise, happy hair making, and we will talk to you guys later. I'll definitely make some more tutorials in the future if this one's helpful. See you guys later.